Once upon a time, in the heart of Boston, there was a small Irish bar owned and operated by a mischievous leprechaun named Seamus. Seamus had been living in Boston for over a century, and he had grown quite fond of the city's vibrant culture and lively atmosphere. Despite his small stature, Seamus was a shrewd businessman who had amassed a considerable amount of wealth over the years. However, Seamus's true passion lay in his beloved pot of gold, which he had buried deep in the hills of Ireland. Determined to save enough money to protect his precious treasure, Seamus decided to open a bar in Boston. The bar was modest, with a few tables and a small bar area, but it quickly became a popular spot for locals and tourists alike. As St. Patrick's Day approached, Seamus knew that this was his chance to make a considerable profit. He ordered barrels of the finest Irish whiskey, and he hired a group of talented musicians to perform traditional Irish music throughout the day. On the morning of St. Patrick's Day, Seamus woke up early and began decorating his bar with green shamrocks and glittering pots of gold. As the day went on, the bar filled with patrons, all eager to celebrate the holiday with Seamus and his team. Seamus, who was dressed in a green suit and a top hat, made sure that everyone had a good time, pouring drinks and singing along to the music. His infectious personality and contagious laughter made the bar the place to be that day. As the night wore on, Seamus continued to pour drinks and share stories with his customers. He regaled them with tales of his homeland, telling stories of the rolling green hills, the misty lakes, and the ancient castles. The customers were captivated, and they listened with rapt attention as Seamus spun his tales. As the hours passed, the atmosphere in the bar grew even more lively, with patrons singing and dancing to the music. Seamus himself joined in, tapping his feet and clapping his hands as the musicians played. He was a beloved figure in the bar, and his infectious energy and sense of humor had won him many friends over the years. As the night wore on, Seamus began to feel a sense of satisfaction. He knew that he had accomplished his goal of making enough money to protect his pot of gold for another year. But he also felt something else, a sense of joy and contentment that he had not felt in a long time. For years, Seamus had been focused on his pot of gold, determined to save enough money to protect it. But in running his bar, he had discovered something else, a love for people and a passion for bringing joy to their lives. He realized that he didn't have to choose between his gold and his customers, he could have both. As the night drew to a close, Seamus bid farewell to his customers, promising to see them again soon. He locked up the bar and stepped outside, breathing in the crisp night air. For the first time in a long time, he felt truly happy. As he walked down the quiet streets of Boston, Seamus thought about the day's events. He realized that he had not just saved money for his pot of gold, he had also saved something else. Something that was far more precious, his own happiness. From that day on, Seamus continued to run his bar, but he did so with a new sense of purpose. He poured drinks, played music, and shared stories with his customers, but he did it all with a newfound appreciation for the people who filled his bar each day. And although he still cherished his pot of gold, he knew that it was the people of Boston who had given his life meaning and joy. Seamus had discovered that the true treasure in life was not material wealth, but the love and connection he shared with others. From that day on, Seamus continued to run his bar with a new sense of purpose, pouring drinks, playing music, and sharing stories with his customers. And every St. Patrick's Day, the bar was packed with patrons eager to celebrate the holiday with Seamus and his team. Seamus had finally found his pot of gold. Not buried deep in the hills of Ireland, but right in the heart of Boston, surrounded by the people he loved.